Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The stage is set for the 2024 Mahabharat, and Times Now has its finger on the pulse of the nation. Have you been wondering if Modi's Mahila Sashaktikaran program or the Mahila Shakti Vandan bill will be a masterstroke in 2024? Do you think the opposition's Jumla attack on the Sarkar is justified? And will the women quota bill be actually a Brahmastra which will decide the finale? Today, as the Lok Sabha votes on this bill and passes this bill with 454 votes versus 2, which has been pending for the last 27 years, Times Now ETG survey gets you the mood of the nation. The day began today with a storm in the Sansad, as usual you would think. As the opposition fielded its top guns, Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi and Mahua Moitra from the Trinamool Congress, the Sarkar countered them with stinging attacks by Amit Shah, Union Home Minister, Nirmala Sitharaman and Smriti Irani. But who will the voters trust? We get you the Times Now ETG survey in a bit, but first let's get you the fierce face-off in Parliament earlier today. While Rahul Gandhi questioned the delay in the implementation, since the bill comes up with caveats of census and delimitation, Amit Shah has lashed out, asking if opposing the bill will hasten gender equality. Another face-off ensued over the inclusion of OBCs. Listen in to the Congress versus BJP fight. Rahul Gandhi versus Union Home Minister Amit Shah.
There are also two things that seem strange to me. One is the idea that you require a new census to implement this bill. And the second is that you require a new delimitation to implement this bill. In my view, it is quite simple. This bill can be implemented today by giving 33% of the seats in the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha to India's women. And so I wonder if this is not designed to push the ball forward.
सोशल मीडिया में कुछ लोग भूमिका बना रहे हैं कि भाई इस विधेयक को इसलिए समर्थन न करो कि इसमें डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन का है और अभी के चुनाव में नहीं होगा। कुछ लोग कह रहे हैं इसमें ओबीसी आरक्षण नहीं है, मुस्लिम आरक्षण नहीं, इसलिए समर्थन न करो। मैं अलग कहता हूं, अब समर्थन नहीं करोगे तो क्या जल्दी आरक्षण आ जाएगा? तो भी 29 के बाद आएगा। समर्थन कर दो, गारंटी हो गई, फिर जो सरकार आएगी उसमें जो बदलाव करेगी वो भी होगा। एक बार श्री गणेश तो करो।
मैंने ये सवाल पूछा कि ये जो 90 सेक्रेटरी हैं, ये जो हिंदुस्तान की सरकार को चलाते हैं, जो बजट को चलाते हैं, इनमें से ओबीसी कितने हैं? नरेंद्र मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री हैं, ओबीसी के लिए काम करते हैं। मैंने ये सवाल पूछा। मैं आपको जवाब देना चाहता हूं, हिंदुस्तान के सेक्रेटरीज 90 में से सिर्फ 3 ओबीसी से हैं।
अब इनकी समझ है कि देश सेक्रेटरीज चलाते हैं, मेरी समझ है देश सरकार चलाती है। मान्यवर, संविधान की स्कीम है, देश की नीतियों का निर्धारण इस देश की कैबिनेट करती है। और ये सारे जो ओबीसी का राग हड़पते हैं, उनको मैं कहना चाहता हूं, आपकी पार्टियों ने कभी ओबीसी प्रधानमंत्री नहीं बनाया, भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने ओबीसी प्रधानमंत्री बनाया।
Sonia Gandhi, who initiated the opposition attack, tried to snatch credit for the Gandhi Parivar, but was met with a fierce counter by Union Minister Smriti Irani. Listen in to this face-off.
पहली दफा स्थानीय निकायों में स्त्री की भागीदारी तय करने वाला संविधान संशोधन मेरे जीवन साथी राजीव गांधी जी ही लाए थे। उन्होंने लाए थे जो राज्यसभा में 7 वोटों से गिर गया था।
कल जब ये प्रस्ताव सदन में आया तो कुछ लोगों ने कहा हमारा बिल है, कुछ लोगों ने कहा हमने चिट्ठी लिखी, कुछ लोगों ने कहा कि ये पूरा का पूरा संवैधानिक निर्माण हमारा था। कांग्रेस का प्रस्ताव था कि 10 साल औरतें मेहनत करें, लेकिन 15वें साल में आपका अधिकार आपसे छीना जाएगा। जब ये अधिनियम लागू होगा तब के बाद 15 वर्षों तक महिलाओं को रिजर्वेशन गारंटी करती है, मोदी की गारंटी है।
Here's a quick Newshour fact check. Congress has demanded immediate implementation of the women's quota, but as per Article 82 of the Constitution, there has to be delimitation first. Of course, this cannot happen without a census. Congress and its own allies have also demanded that OBCs must be included. But even UPA's 2010 women quota bill did not include OBCs. The reason why it was then opposed by the Samajwadi Party and the RJD, Sonia Gandhi had claimed, Women's bill hamara hai, but she seems to have forgotten that it was first brought in the Deve Gowda government in 1996 and not a Congress government. Congress had only given outside support and eventually brought down the government as well. Also, former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee had introduced the bill twice in his tenure but was never credited for it. The legitimate question that we ask on the Newshour tonight. Times Now ETG survey will answer many of the questions on how the people of India think, but the legitimate question we are asking is, Nari Shakti Bill, a Brahmastra ahead of the 2024 polls? That's the question and that's the debate on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour first. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining me on the debate, Shazia Ilmi, National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Dr. Sonal Mansingh, Member of Parliament in the Rajya Sabha, Ravula Sridhar Reddy, Senior Leader of the BRS, Dr. L. Hanumantaiah, Rajya Sabha Member of Parliament of the Congress Party, Advocate Waris Pathan, National Spokesperson of the AIMIM, Vijay Dharini S., MLA of the Congress Party and CLP, Chief Whip in Tamil Nadu. Also joining me tonight is Dr. Sumant C. Raman, a political analyst who will join the debate in just a bit. But first, let me tell you the methodology on how Times Now ETG put the finger on the pulse of the nation. The basis of these projections, the sample size is about 6,792 people across 19 states. The surveys were conducted via telephonic interview, and it's a quick dipstick just to get a mood of the nation on what they think about this women's reservation bill actually being a game changer. The first question we asked our respondents, was women's quota bill historic step by the Prime Minister? That's the first question coming up on your screen. Was women's quota bill a historic step by Prime Minister Modi? 52% people believe yes, it was. Historic bill that has been brought by Prime Minister Modi. 30% people say no, it's not. And 18% people sitting on the fence can't say whether this alone is going to be a game changer for 2024, but 52, that's more than half the nation, more than half the respondents who believe that this is a historic step. Question 2, on your screens, ladies and gentlemen, coming up is what political message is the Prime Minister trying to send through this women quota bill? Galvanize women voters. 21% people feel yes, this is for votes. Create cracks in the opposition. 18% people feel yes, it's a little political. So political positioning, 39% people. But seriousness about gender equality, say 34%. So 39% believe it's a political step. 34% people believe he's serious about gender equality and change the political dynamics. 27% feel. 61% people feel that this will change the dynamics of politics in this country, and only 39% people believe it is actually a political step just to get some more votes. That's the question, and let me go straight across to Mr. Waris Pathan. मिस्टर वारिस पठान, जनता समझ रही है, 60 से ऊपर % जनता समझ रही है कि ये पॉलिटिकल नहीं है, जेंडर इक्वालिटी है. बट यू हैव 2 members of parliament in Lok Sabha, Owaisi Sahab and Imtiaz Jalil, only 2 members who voted against the bill. Waris Pathan, महिलाओं से क्या दुश्मनी है? What have we done to you that you don't want to vote for a women's reservation bill?
Well, Navika, first and foremost, let me tell you, today our party president in the parliament during the discussion on the women's reservation bill has clearly stated that he is opposing the bill on the ground that it is a women deception bill, it is anti-Muslim, anti-OBC bill, and this is not an inclusive bill, it is an exclusive bill. The thing here is the bill which is brought by the Modi government is with the intention that there should be movement representation. Nobody is against that. We want the movement representation to take place in the
How can you say nobody is against it? You were against it. Your party was against it. So please don't say. Please don't say nobody is against it. You and your party are against it. That's on record. Why should I not say?
You don't put words into my mouth. No, you are against the OBC. You are against the Muslims.
My friend, you have voted against women reservation bill. I am not putting any words in your mouth. I know how to read. I know how to read, and it said 454 verses.
No, we objected on several grounds. Allow me. We objected on the ground that it is against this. Why don't you include the OBC women? Why did you not include the Muslim women? The representation of the Muslims has to be there. The representation of the OBC women should be there. But this government does not have intention. Even in 1996, when they had brought the bill, that time also our party has raised this issue that OBC women should be included and the Muslim women should also be included in the bill.
Okay.
Because as you know, 7%
Mr. Waris Pathan, I want to ask you.
7%. You spoke about Nari Shakti Vandan bill.
I want to ask you, Mr. Waris Pathan.
Shakti Vandana bill. What is the Nari Shakti Vandana? You release Bilkis Bano's rapist.
Waris Pathan Sahab, before you decide to boycott me, I want to ask you a question. As a journalist, it's my job to ask you a question. I want to ask you, how many women members of parliament have you sent to the Lok Sabha? How many women members of parliament have you sent? How many Muslim women have you sent to parliament? How many Muslim women have you sent to any state assembly? How many Muslim women occupy some position in your party? Just answer these 3 questions and I will understand.
There are allow me, now I'll answer to your query. I'll answer to your query, Navika. Yes, I'll answer to a query that how much khairka we are of the Muslim women. We have got so many states in the country. Every state we have got a woman wing, every state we have got a woman president. We have several women corporators. We have several women representatives from our party who are there. Why don't you look out to that? We have got corporators. Can I name you? There is a huge list of women corporators sitting in UP, Gujarat, Maharashtra, in Gujarat and in Tamil Nadu, we have got a woman corporator there as well. In our party, we have got Muslim president, women wings everywhere in the country. Wherever we have got Muslim wing. So why don't you take that into consideration? Yes, we have 2 MPs. 2 MPs. Asad Owaisi is there and Imtiaz Jalil from Aurangabad. We contested for the 3rd for the very first time on 3 seats in the 2019 elections, and we won 2. And inshallah, I'm hopeful that in the coming few years, we will definitely have more representation, provided you give us at least some reservation. That is why we say, why don't you give us representation to the Muslim women? Don't you feel, Navika, that there should be a Muslim representation, there should be a Muslim woman sitting in the parliament, sitting in the Vidhan Sabha, sitting in the assembly, and talking about the community, speaking on behalf of the community. There should be. But
the day your party president can be a woman, the day you send a member of parliament who is a woman, the day women are not just ornamental heads of the women wing, but they are head of the entire AIMIM, I will personally stand up, congratulate you and salute you. But Shazia Ilmi, 454 historic support.
Wearing Muslim woman. I am sure.
एक मुस्लिम वुमन है,
I am
उसको
sure that
जवाब दे लेने
a
दीजिए.
Muslim wearing hijab will be the prime minister of this great nation.
Okay,
Yes.
I also hope. मैं दुआ करती हूँ कि एक हिंदू
Why with hijab?
नहीं पर मैं एक दुआ करती हूँ कि एक हिंदू औरत AIMIM की भी प्रेसिडेंट बने.
That's how you like to see women.
Then we will say that there is absolutely Ganga Jamni Tehzeeb.
Hey, come to Telangana with me. I will show you. Come to Maharashtra. I will show you. We have got Dalit representation. We have got Brahmin representation.
President of the party. President of the party. But let me get in Shazia Ilmi.
In Gujarat,
Mr. Waris Pathan. 1 minute. Mr. Waris Pathan only bats for Muslim representation, so he will go against all women. Because Muslim women haven't been, made into a quota within a quota, so he is against all women and his party is against all women, including Muslim women. That is how he legitimizes the opposition of the AIMIM to the women's reservation bill. But on the other hand, now the Congress party has found the OBC route to try and question why this bill doesn't include the OBCs. I want to ask you, Shazia Ilmi, should they not have thought about this even in 2010 when they brought their own bill? OBCs were not part of that reservation.
Exactly. So first of all, I would like to say that nobody believes that Waris Pathan's party really cares for Muslim women or wants them to do better than they're doing right now. Nobody believes that, and they have actually worked against the interests of Muslim women, if at all. They might, and when it comes to the list of their own candidates for various state legislative assembly elections, you don't find Muslim women there at all. They don't make it to the list. So and we all know what the stand has been on Triple Talaq, earlier Shah Bano case, and where they stand on UCC, where Muslim women would gain as much as their other sisters from other communities. Second thing, Sonia Gandhi did not, she tom-tommed the fact that the Lok Sabha, in the Rajya Sabha, the bill was passed in 2010. Did she also mention at this point of time that none of the provisions that she's asking for were not included at that point of time? That the reason why the bill lapsed and the reason why we waited for 3 decades, almost 3 decades, was because of Samajwadi Party and because of RJD. She could build a consensus on nuclear deal. She could not build consensus on this. Why? Women were not worth it, right? The alliance and the partnership with RJD and with Mulayam Singh Yadav's Samajwadi Party was more important. Isn't it a matter of great shame now to run and want to take credit and say, ye hamara hai, when you knew that all you needed to do is build consensus and pass, that 30 years back we could have been where we are today. However, having said that, it is momentous. It's a giant leap for womankind, and therefore all of us, because everybody watching today's historic session, and what a great session it was, knows who stands where and who's on the right side of history when it comes to gender justice. Now, conflating social justice issues with gender justice. Let me tell you, there has always been discrimination on lines of caste, class and gender. For once, I implore everybody here, do not divide. I know they're used to dividing and ruling, but you want to divide even the women. You want to play one against the other. You want to play the caste card and get intersectionality over here as well. How shameful is that? And do you think is there any community or any particular caste but there is no discrimination when it comes to the male counterparts. So there is discrimination all the way, at all levels. Why would you want to make it about social justice? This is the biggest measure of social justice. And also, all the games and shenanigans they used on all these years, 96, 98, 99, 2002, 2008, 2010, they tried it again this time. Quota within quota, minority women, OBC, extremely backward castes. They did it again, but it is the will of BJP and our Prime Minister that prevailed, which will go a long way to pave the way for our sisters out there who do not come from big political families,
only Shazia
who do not
Ilmi
have access, who will finally find their way there in the state legislatures and Lok Sabha.
Only Shazia Ilmi, we will as women have to wait till 2029 for that, because it ain't happening too soon. It ain't happening too soon. Even if the bill is passed now with the whopping majority, the fact is that the wait will continue till 2029, and who knows till then what all happens in the world. Life is uncertain. But let's take a look at the next few questions on the survey before I get in the Congress Member of Parliament in Rajya Sabha, where the bill is likely to go tomorrow. Question number 3 on your screens, ladies and gentlemen. What was Sonia Gandhi's intention behind calling it our bill, Apna bill? She's speaking the truth, say 24% people. She can't praise Modi, say 32% people. She expressed Congress's commitment, says 26% of the respondents. She had to say something, so she did, say 18% of the people contacted. Question number 4, is Congress right in crediting Sonia for women's quota? Absolutely right, 28%. Somewhat right, 9%. Absolutely wrong, 28%. Can't say 35%. So people who don't believe Sonia Gandhi should get all the credit actually are 73% people, and people who actually believe that she should get is about 37% people. That is how people have responded. Question number 5. Why do you think the women's quota bill has been brought in now? It was languishing for 27 years, say 13%. It is an event management bill, 23%. Big step towards women empowerment, say 44%. Announce something major in the new parliament, say 20% people. So 44% believe that this is actually to empower women. So, Mr. Hanumantaiah, my question to you is, taking credit, well, all political parties do it, so nobody can hold it against the Congress party. But I want to ask you, Mr. Hanumantaiah, should you believe the pulse of the people, that the Congress could not get all parties together even when you were in an alliance with them in the UPA, which is why in 2010 the bill was passed in Rajya Sabha, yet you did not have the courage to bring it in Lok Sabha. Today in Lok Sabha, the Samajwadi Party, which was against the bill, has voted for the bill. The RJD, of course, wasn't there. Do you think you have a lesson or two to learn from Modi Sarkar on how to manage the floor?
No, these decisions of the managing the floor will be decided by the time. The time which we were running the coalition government, that coalition partners were having a difference of not supporting the bill unless the internal reservation for OBC is brought. That was the main reason. Otherwise, in the Rajya Sabha, we have passed the bill, and the claiming that we are the real owners or real partners of that bill is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But today, the time has changed. The UPA are now going to have a coalition partners in the name of India, and the N.D.A is being run the government for the last 10 years and now going for elections. And my simple question is, why Modi's government was not able to bring this bill for the last 9 years? Was it not a loss of time or denial of gender justice to the 50% women of this country? That is point number 1. Second, if Congress demands for OBC reservation, what is wrong in that? We wanted the women from OBC section and SC/ST section has to be represented properly, and it should be an opportunity to be given to all the section of women, just women getting a representation, and justice given to all the section of the society is two totally different things. First thing is, if at all you give a general representation on the basis of gender justice, the elite women will be in the parliament and the assemblies.
Oh.
We want every section of the society has to represent, and they have to be in the parliament.
Then why did you get a bill passed?
What is wrong in
why
that?
did you
You
get a
please
bill
let me know
passed
what
in
is wrong
Rajya
in
Sabha
this.
which did not have OBC
Yeah.
representation? Or if that realization came later, then between 2010 2014, why didn't you bring in that clause within the women's reservation bill and pass it again? You had 4 years to do it. Anand Ranganathan, is the Congress, believing that people of this country cannot see through the politics that they are trying to play and the perception game that they are trying to play with the people of India?
No, absolutely. First of all, good evening, Navika, and congratulations to everyone, men, women, everyone else, for this historic bill that has been passed. I'd like to briefly make 3 points because there are some exalted legendary panelists who haven't yet had a chance, notably Sonalji there. So I'll be very brief. Number one, I cannot but not comment on what my dear friend and elder brother Waris Pathan Saab said. His illogic has to be countered immediately. And as, let me paraphrase Ghalib, umr bhar Waris yahi bhool karta raha, धूल चेहरे पे थी आईना साफ करता रहा. The fact of the matter is कि Waris Saab believes that women daughters should get only half the inheritance as the sons would. There he doesn't want women empowerment. But यहाँ पे कूद पड़े, और यहाँ पे भी जो कूदे हैं, डेटा मैं इनको बता दूं, 7 MLAs हैं इनके तेलंगाना में, एक भी वुमन नहीं है, एक भी कैंडिडेट वुमन नहीं था इनका तेलंगाना में जो आए थे. औरों को आप औरों के शीशों के घरों में पत्थर मार रहे हैं. चलिए कोई बात नहीं. Navika, just a couple of points. Number one, let's be very honest about this. This is not about the hypocrisy of the Congress that you have exposed. They did not have OBC in there, and it doesn't really make sense about quota within a quota. If a party feels that it must field an OBC woman as a candidate, let it do so. Who is preventing it? Number one. Number two, there is also hypocrisy of the BJP that it waited for 9 years. But I have to say this, that delimitation and the census exercise are a must before you bring this to fruition. So BJP has not put a foot wrong there. But there are two issues here. Very briefly, I want to come on this. Number one, is women reservation a moral obligation? That is the philosophical question. Forget about empowerment. I say it is. I say reservation for Dalits, SC, STs, per se, across the, are our moral obligation, and that is what our founding fathers said. That is what every politician right now says, from Prime Minister down to President, or President down to Prime Minister. Yes, it is. So I ask, if it is a moral obligation, then why on earth are there no women reservation in the Supreme Court? Why on earth are there no women judges reserved for the High Court? Do you know, out of the 25 High Court judges, not a Chief Justice of High Court, not a single one is woman? There are only 7% women judges in the High Courts. There are only 10% women judges in the Supreme Court. Why is it only 7% vice chancellors of all Indian universities are women? Why is there discrimination? So the problem is not the women reservation. The problem is you are applying it selectively. I ask all the panelists out here, do you have the guts to beseech the Supreme Court or the Chief Justice to say, stop waxing eloquent about women empowerment, have a women reservation in the Supreme Court benches? Let me see how many panelists...
Well, there is a huge debate on where do you want women to be, and where do you want reservations to be, and where do you want merit to really be the reason for deciding. But let me get in Dr. Sonal Mansingh. Decorated, somebody who represents, art, culture, and just the embodiment of our country. Sonal Mansingh, I want to ask you, why do they come up with this argument that it will only be rich elite women from upper caste families that will make it through this 33% women reservation. Is this a bogey that is being raised time and again, just somehow to find one bahana or the other to try and prevent for seats for women being reserved in parliament?
It's the old hash and cliched argument which does not hold water anyway. Now, more and more women are in every field of activity, including the defense forces. Nobody asks them whether they are this, that, or other. Education, law, medicine, everywhere, even ISRO for the Chandrayaan. Now, the question that you asked, Navika, that this is a very, I think it's an insult to all women to suggest that this will only help the elite women from certain classes. It's an insult. This will empower women like never before. And those women will come with their life's experiences and wisdom and put it before the nation. They'll be part of the policy-making bodies. They will pass the laws sitting in parliament and in legislative assemblies. Just imagine the wonderful beauty, the grace, the wisdom that will flow from them. I think we are doing grave injustice by trotting out this kind of argument time and again.
Well, let me get in Mr. Waris Pathan. Waris Pathan and Mr. Hanumantaiah, coming back to you. Waris Pathan, Anand Ranganathan as usual has called your bluff. तेलंगाना की बड़ी आप बात कर रहे थे, 8 आपने वहां टिकट्स दी थी एक महिला को, लेकिन एक भी महिला जीत कर नहीं आई और 8 में से एक महिला को टिकट दी और इतना ज्यादा शोर मचा रहे हैं आप. How you are standing up for Muslim women?
Well, my good friend Anand Ranganathan, which is very eloquent and good oratory speech, has given a huge and lengthy lecture, but on few of his topics I would like to comment on that. He spoke about the census and he spoke about the delimitation. May I ask my friend Anand Ranganathan, in 2021, why did the Modi government not hold a census? Why? Now when the census will be held, when we don't know. When will the delimitation be held? We don't know, because it is going to take much time. And after that, this bill will be implemented. So it is not a jumla given by Modi government and you are supporting that jumla. You are the master of supporting a jumla given by the BJP government, because you yourself, my friend, knows very well that this cannot come before 2029.
वारिस पठान साहब, चाइना को इतना सपोर्ट करने लगे कि
कोविड आस्किंग,
कोविड हुआ था कि नहीं हुआ था?
चाइना को कैसे पढ़ रहे हैं? हम तो चाइना के खिलाफ है, हम तो 56 इंच दिखा रहे हैं, मगर हमारे प्रधानमंत्री चाइना को आंख नहीं दिखा रहे हैं. लाल आंख में 56 इंच का सीना. You must question our prime minister. Why does he not speak about the China?
नहीं किया वारिस साहब, मैंने आपको
allow me Anand, whether I am correct or no. See, you are not a BJP spokesperson, nor you are a left wing or a right wing. You are a center person. Okay, when will the census take place? When will the delimitation take place? And when will the actual implementation of the bill come into force? And when will the women get reservation?
All right.
4 questions, my friend Anand.
Okay, 4 questions. Anand Ranganathan is answering. Anand, floor is yours.
Yes, ये देखिए गोल पोस्ट ऐसे शिफ्ट किए, तेलंगाना से ही बाहर निकल गए वारिस पठान साहब. मैंने सिंपल सवाल
चाइना चले गए
कि सिंपल सवाल था, इनके 7 MLAs हैं तेलंगाना में, कितने विमेन हैं उनमें से 7 में से, और कितनी विमेन को इन्होंने टिकट दिया था? जवाब दे दीजिए, वरना बिरवानी भिजवा दीजिए बिरयानी.
अरे हम 7 सीट पे लड़ते हैं, 7 सीट पे लड़ते हैं तेलंगाना में, 7 में से हमने 7 जीते. अभी हमारे कॉर्पोरेटर्स भी है ना तेलंगाना में, वुमेन कॉर्पोरेटर्स. अरे अगर हम तकरीबन हमारे,
if you ask him about MLAs, he will answer for corporators. If you ask him about MPs, he will tell you the women wing of their party. You know, Waris Pathan ji, मतलब दुनिया आप बहुत सियाने हैं, आप बहुत सियाने हैं, पर दुनिया भी है जो वो रोटी मुंह से ही खाती है. उनको समझ आ रहा है आप क्या करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं.
बिल्कुल.
इसीलिए तो हम चाहते हैं कि रिजर्वेशन मिले मुसलमानों को, ताकि हम भी मुसलमानों का उद्धार करें. रिजर्वेशन मिले तो
क्यों मिले? आप डिसाइड करिए अपना मुस्लिम कैंडिडेट, विमेन कैंडिडेट.
That is why we want our representation and a quota for that.
Why should there be a reservation for Muslim women? I don't understand.
Decided
this.
है. आप reservation दो.
There is reservation.
You give us reservation to the OBC and the Muslim.
My friend, 33% is reserved for women. You put Muslim women in front. The country will support them. कंट्री विल सपोर्ट देम. वारिस पठान जी, आप नहीं जीत पाओगे, लेकिन वुमन कैंडिडेट है, वो जीत जाएगी.
ओबीसी एंड मुस्लिम, वी वांट आवर रिप्रेजेंटेशन टू कम.
वेल, ओके,
जीतेगी 100% जीतेगी, और हमको अल्लाह की जात से यकीन है कि इंशाल्लाह एक दिन मुस्लिम.
तो अगली बार लोकसभा में कितनी टिकट्स वुमेन कैंडिडेट्स को देंगे? नेक्स्ट लोकसभा इलेक्शन, हाउ मेनी वुमेन कैंडिडेट्स विल कॉन्टेस्ट ऑन एन AIMIM टिकट? Mr. Waris Pathan.
Navika, 5 seconds, just 5 seconds.
That will be decided. That will be decided.
Will be decided.
That will decide. But
then we will also request Mr. Modi to give reservation to Muslims later when you decide.
Navika, 5 seconds.
Give us now, and I will give you the details that will contest. Our women will contest.
Okay, Anand.
Waris Pathan Saab, are you going to fight for within this women quota reservation for lesbians also?
Oh my God! No? You know, Anand Ranganathan. You know, let's just get back to the main. Gender equality. The rest will go. We will debate that later. But
I'm not an expert like you.
No. Vijay Dharini ji, MLA of the Congress party in the Tamil Nadu Assembly. Vijay Dharini ji, I want to ask you, when it is said that only elite women will be making it through these reservations, do you think this is an insult to women in general, as Sonal Mansingh ji says? Or do you think actually without OBC, not even one first step of 33% reservation for women should be taken?
See, first of all, I would like to thank everybody and applaud all the parties who have voted in the parliament.
Are you applauding Prime Minister Modi? Are you applauding Prime Minister Modi who brought the bill?
They have given. Definitely, why not? I do applaud our Prime Minister also, and I really appreciate the move that at least now, after a span of 25 years, this bill has been brought and it is seeing the light of the day. I am really happy about it. I really appreciate every single woman of this country who are willing to become politicians, and I wanted every single woman to get participated in the political process. It is the general agenda which the Congress party also promoted earlier. Beyond all political considerations, I feel that this women reservation bill is definitely a women empowerment bill, which has to become a law sooner by voting in Rajya Sabha tomorrow. Very important is why this bill is being, the implementation is being delayed. It can be done in today's world, in this technology development. Our Prime Minister also can give a rethink of it, and the Cabinet also can give a rethink of it in a positive way. I want to represent that by uniting the I.N.D.I.A, Aadhaar and the Election Commission of India's voter list, which is getting updated every 3 months in all the states, both can be put together, and with the huge technological development that has been happening for the past several years in India, we can make the census happen immediately. We can make the delimitation also happen immediately insofar as women voters are concerned. The number of women voters are already in the list of the Election Commission of India. And based on the 2011 census, only 2016 election went on, 2021 election went on, 2014 election went on, Parliament, all state assemblies, everything is based on the census of 2011, so that this delimitation and the census process can be over within a month.
I applaud you.
The technology,
I applaud you, Dharini ji. Vijay Dharini ji, I applaud you because you took a completely non-partisan position on this. Shazia Ilmi, even though I thought you were almost going to faint when a Congress MLA actually lauded the Prime Minister in bringing this bill, respond to the ideas she has. If we can have a COVID app for a quick, administration of vaccines, we can do this faster than the 5-year limit that has been set. Respond to that very genuine question, Shazia ji.
No, it's
So I do. Yes.
Navika,
So first of all, I'd like to say I appreciate the candor and the warmth expressed by by my friend MLA from Congress Party. And I would also like to say that 2021 is when the census was due to be conducted, and it is the Registrar General of India who announced that obviously it was a COVID year, that it will be postponed to 2024. Yes, I really wish that all of you make a bigger hue and cry and ask for an earlier process of census as well as demilitation so that it can be done earlier. But being naysayers and taking credit and also criticizing the bill and raising the quota within quota is not the best way to express and to ensure that people believe in your intention of having the passage of the bill and for it to become an act, that you are serious about it. Because it is very unconvincing. While you here applaud it,
Dr. Hanumanthaiya, Shazia Ilmi has a point. You want to bring it faster. You should try and bring it faster. It's a totally well expected and well thought out demand. But to begin to find all kinds of all kinds of loopholes, OBC, this, that, and the other. Are you actually denying women the right that is being given to them?
It is exactly what Madam Vidayak has said. The government, if they mind to bring it in 24 election, they can do it. And there is a very tool in their hand which can be done, and they can be given the opportunity to participate in 2024 election. If the intention was genuine, they would have brought it little earlier, say at least 1 year earlier, and made this 24 election a women participated election.
My friend, you could have brought it 13 years earlier and you could have made this a reality, What if is something that we can continue to live by?
Madam, to the 2010 we have brought it, passed in Rajya Sabha. You should applaud that first.
We applauded it then because we were expecting it to come in Lok Sabha in 2011, 12, 13 and 14. It didn't come, and that is why the question is being asked to you tonight.
The News Hour first. We'll be right back after the break. She asks tough questions like no other journalist.
तमाम तरह के बयान आते हैं, तो लोग आजकल alliances पर बहुत focus कर रहे हैं. आपकी alliance कैसी? Do you think these issues or the breach on freedom of expression and creative freedoms that are coming are a challenge for people like you?
She takes on the masters of Indian politics like no one else can.
What do you think about the Patna meeting, the opposition unity? अभी के दौर में जो कांग्रेस एक क्रॉसरोड्स पर खड़ी नजर आती है, आपको इसका अंदेशा पहले से था?
Because she speaks for you the way no one else can.
Do you think it's time for the Uniform Civil Code to come in? I mean, it's been 75 years.
Because your voice must be heard, your questions answered above all else. Frankly Speaking with Navika Kumar.
Prime time isn't just about debates.
It's about knowing the news.
We give you facts
with context and without bias.
The long
and short
of what made the headlines.
Factual and forthright on News Now overnight.
What's new? What's breaking? What's the story?
Answer these questions and you make a good news morning.
From what's in news to what stays in news.
We stay committed to tell you all. We remain focused so you remain sharp. Enrich your mornings with the newness of news. The Morning News Hour.
When news is troubling, They rented this house right here, and 3 days later, she was murdered.
When news is for common man.
We are asking you for the AIMIM that why the proper checks and balances were not done, sir.
When news is for nation.
Right now, I'm just few meters away from Pakistani post, which is acting as launch pads for terrorists.
When news is exclusive.
We are reporting from few miles away from the line of actual control.
We report from ground zero. Times now. Action begins here.
Journalism is a mission, not just to seek accountability or a fight for justice, but for honesty and integrity. Voicing citizens' concerns and using the truth to demand answers, ensuring that you come first on agenda. Watch News Hour Agenda with me, Madhav Gopalakrishnan, weeknights at 10 o'clock only on Times Now.
News should be up to your expectations. News should be reliable. News should be experience-based. News should be balanced. And news should definitely be factual and accurate. I, Madhav Gopalakrishnan, get you the news straight, loaded with facts, because there's nothing more important to me than to get it right. I bring news that you can trust, because Times Now and its viewers expect nothing less. Watch Nation Wants to Know with me, Madhav Gopalakrishnan.
You're watching the News Hour first.
SC/ST quota within women's reservation. Yes, say 30% people. No, say 38%. Can't say 32%. Are Samajwadi Party and RJD right in claiming that it will only benefit elite and celebrities? It exposes an anti-women mindset, say 23% of the people. They fear end to male monopoly, 18% people. Shows their concern for backward classes, 21%. Didn't apply their mind when making such claims, say 38% of the people. Question number 9, will the bill only favor women from prominent political families? Yes, say 36%, no, say 31%, can't say 33%. So somewhere there's a mixed feeling on whether it will be political families that will field women from their families. And that's the question I want to ask you, Mr. Ravula Sridhar Reddy. Do you think this bill, without, the OBC reservation, without the reservation for caste, will it become political families which will dominate, which women will go there?
Not exactly. I don't think, maybe initially to a certain extent it may happen because the male legislators might, if you really have to speak frankly, there is a chance. But over a period of time, definitely we will evolve to a situation where the true leaders will come out from all these sections, from the women, and definitely they will play an active role because we are experiencing it in Telangana state. I can tell you, Telangana is one of the very few states which is implementing 50% women reservation in all the local bodies, right from Panchayat ward member to Jilla Parishad chairmen here. Many corporation mayors, though we are implementing 50% reservation to the women in local bodies, 58% municipal chairpersons are women. And out of 32 Jilla Parishad chairmen, 18 are women. It should be 16, but they're 18. If you take the number, everywhere there is a proper representation, and I can see,
What about assemblies? This bill is for assemblies and parliament, sir.
I am answering your question, whether they will be dominating, there will be a problem also. Number two, yes, even when you make a legislation, automatically the parties has to follow. Then definitely BRS party has been a strong advocate for women reservation bill in this country, women reservation. In 2014, immediately after the formation of the state, our state government, we have passed a unanimous resolution in the assembly and sent it to the center. And today, 33% of the government jobs, we have given priority to the women empowerment in our state, women's security, and opportunities to women in business and other industrialization everywhere. 33% government jobs are reserved even for agricultural market committee chairmen. 33% reservation is there for women in our state. 10% industrial plots. In our state, there is a flagship program from the government, 2-bedroom houses given, that is given on the name of the women. So even the women journalist accreditations, you must be knowing this, Navika, 33% is given to women journalists. So what I'm trying to tell you...
Well, I'm a boycotted woman journalist, but let's not go there tonight, because let's keep this...
I'm telling you the priority. Please.
No.
The priority given to the women on every front is visible in Telangana state. Yes, the question which you have asked me, that may persist for some time, but definitely I'm sure this is an historic decision, historic occasion. I congratulate all the women. But only thing is that the postponement of this, implementation is actually raising the questions on the sincerity of the union government.
Well said, Mr. Reddy. And I must compliment Vijay Dharini ji and L. Hanumantaiah ji, both from the Congress party, one an MLA and Chief Whip in Tamil Nadu, and one a member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha, who are both on my show. And I appreciate your support despite your party and the I.N.D.I.A Alliance boycotting me. But I do understand many in the Congress still see my shows and tweet on my shows. So obviously, if you are watching my shows, I really love, because that is the way democracies should be. But let me get in Sumansi Raman. Sumansi Raman, I want to ask you a simple question. In the South, women representation probably way better than in the northern states. Do you think this whole demand of OBC reservation, this, that, and the other, is somehow a ploy to delay equality, gender equality for women? Because in the north, maturity of the society is not as much.
First of all, Navika, I'm really enjoying seeing various political parties waxing eloquent. And I really liked Mr. Sridhar Reddy's talk now about how women should be empowered and all that. 115 candidates list they have released for the forthcoming assembly elections, with 7 women candidates there. Out of 115, he has released a list with 7 women candidates. So, I mean, sitting and, giving gyan on how women can be empowered, every party does it. I'm not blaming BRS for it. Almost every single party in this country is guilty, equally guilty, and all of them sit on TV and can give gyan saying how they would like to empower women. Coming to the issue of reservation, it is a very, very valid point. Simply go over the list of women parliamentarians and find out the number of them who do not have family connections or who are not part of political clans in the parliament today. You will find that it is a minority. 30% of members of the present Lok Sabha are in some form or the other dinars. That includes male and female. The proportion of females who are dinars is even higher.
Need to make sure that there is some form of reservation given to scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and OBCs. I agree with Dr. Anand that this is being selectively applied. Why only for MLAs and MPs? Why not for
okay, Shazia Ilmi is countering you. Shazia Ilmi is countering you. Shazia, what's your counter?
Navika.
So while I completely agree with Sumanji when he says that most of the 30% and more members of parliament are connected and are part of dynasty one way or the other, and there was a point of time when all women in Rajya Sabha were daughters, wives, widows of important men, patriarchs in political families. While I agree with that, I want to ask you, Sumanji, isn't it a great idea for all the parties to show and put their skin in the game and actually say that no matter what and when this happens, whether it's 2029 or earlier or later,
Madam,
that at least we will start by giving at least 33%.
Excuse me.
So, Suman, let me finish. Suman, let me finish. I haven't finished.
Post-dated check with no date
don't
on it.
excuse me because you don't know what I'm going to say. Be quiet. Let me finish saying what I'm saying. So, can't Sonia Gandhi start with her party and say, I'll make sure that 33% of the tickets that I will give will be to OBCs, because Rahul Gandhi seemed to suddenly remember that this is one cause he must take up. Shouldn't Dimple Yadav start with herself and say, no, I want more and more Yadav women from marginalized families instead of myself to be there and do more?
Again,
Shouldn't Pani Modi do the same? Supriya Sule can do the same. So I think it's very important.
By the same token,
no, it's not what about me. It's real. It's real. Even BJP. BJP, all parties. But I'm just saying it's very important to say that there has to be better. You can start with yourself.
Yes, every party should start with itself. Otherwise, we can debate this till the cows come home, and every party will be asking the other party to, lead this entire process. I'm coming to you, Mr. Reddy and Dr. Anand Ranganathan, but just two more questions on the survey, which I'll take and come to you both. Has the Prime Minister prepared the pitch for the 2029 polls with this bill, not just 2024? Yes, say 42% people. No, say 41% people. 17% people say we don't know. The last question we asked, why is Vipaksh calling this bill with delimitation caveat an event management bill? An attempt to trigger a debate, 24%, an attempt to politicize, 27%, a sense of guilt for not passing the law during their own time, 12% people, it's the right assessment, 37% people. One more question. Why is the BJP bringing this bill in the final few months of the Modi 2.0 government? BJP is fulfilling its manifesto promise, say 34% people. It's a counter to the caste census demand by the opposition, 16% people. NDA is jittery about I.N.D.I.A Alliance, say 24% people. Shows that the government is confident, say 26% people. Where do you stand on this, Anand Ranganathan? 34% people say they're fulfilling manifesto promise, and 26% people are saying that they're showing their will. Where do you stand?
No, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it can go, it's a double-edged sword. Both BJP and the Congress and every other parties have dilly-dallied for decades. But as Narendra Modi said, I mean, I'm not going to quote what exactly he said, but he said the onus has been left on him. But very quickly, 3 points, Navika. Look, you have women's reservation as a blanket umbrella. And Dr. Sumantrama is absolutely right, because once you have that women's reservation, the only way you can expose the rampant hypocrisy of political parties is to leave the onus on whom they want to give the tickets to. Like Dr. Sumantraman rampantly exposed the hypocrisy of Dr. Reddy. He was waxing eloquent for 5 minutes about how much his party has done for women reservation and all that. Turns out he's not even given 7% of tickets to women candidates.
Mr. Reddy.
So much for, yeah, and let me just
Navika,
on a lighter
note,
on a very lighter note, with so many women's reservation going around, it won't be much long before, male politicians start identifying themselves as women to vie for these reserved tickets.
Well, we've seen this in the past. Wives made it to chief minister's position. If they do it through elections on their own, I think it will be a lot more respectable. But yes, Mr. Reddy, lip service,
Navika,
nothing on the ground.
Let me be honest on this. Mr. Ranganathan and Ms. Sumantraman are free to criticize us. I admit that we could give only 7 seats. But you need to understand the intention and sincerity in our efforts from 2014 in implementing the reservation in local bodies and all other opportunities and women empowerment schemes. But here, since the political compulsions are there, not only my party, had it been, in case of every party right from BJP to Congress, why only 80 MPs are there in the parliament today? So my question is here, there are political compulsions. Even after, passing the bill in the Lok Sabha today, we are discussing whether the women from all sections could get the opportunity or not. Yes, there are issues on the ground.
There are issues on the ground, but Sonal Mansingh, is it too little, too late? Are we saying why did Prime Minister Modi bring this in the last year of the government? Is it a political move, or should we just celebrate it because it didn't happen for 75 years? It's happening now.
Let me finish.
I'm short of time. I'm short on time, Reddy ji. I'm sorry, I'm short on time. Sonal Mansingh, it's only gender justice if I give her the last word. Yes, Sonal ji.
Navika ji.
Thank you very much, Navika. It's equity and equality, number one. I think in 9 years, Modi ji built the platform giving women so much economic power, Ujjwala, Bima Yojana, Mudra Yojana, and so many things. Because to fight elections, you don't only need grit and power, but you also need money power. You also need economic power. And economic power gives you social status. I think he built the platform and he was taking all the necessary steps. And now he thought it's the right time. You know, I doubt why we doubt all the time, rather than look at it in a positive way, that at least the first step, step has been taken.
That's only because politics is full of cynicism, Sonal Mansingh ji, and we need to get rid of cynicism today. It's a landmark day. The Lok Sabha has passed it, 454 versus 2. The 2, I must point out, is the 2 votes by the AIMIM that went against the bill. Clearly, they set conditions. Muslims first, women only later. Is that what we will believe, or will we believe? Why not today? Why is it 5 years later? Why not this? Why not OBC? Why not caste justification? The question is, women after 75 years are getting this reservation. Should we celebrate it as a country, or should we keep whining? That's the question. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on the debate.